Okay, everybody. Today I'm going to be doing some sound deadening. My car needs some sound treatment, especially for if you know what's going in my car, or you know what's in my car. But I went ahead and left out the part where I pull out all my trunk panels and stuff. It's pretty self-explanatory. I just take the few clips off. There's a few clips hidden on the inside of the panel where like the little piece of the trunk panel like flips around and connects tucked in back here behind this trunk trim. But just loosened up all the bolts on the trunk trim from the inside, and I just pulled off the tabs that were wrapped around there, around back, that was holding the rest of the trunk carpet in place. But this is as far as I got so far. So everything's out of the trunk. You could tell it's like dirty, pretty dirty from just like the dirt, dust, and everything else. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is get the vacuum out all the crevices as best as I could everywhere, all in there, all down here, and everywhere else in between. And as you can see, for my car, I had to put like a little indentation right there. Looks a little bit worse on camera than it really is, but it's okay. It just kind of like folded this part inwards instead of outwards, and that was the only way I was able to get my box facing forward. But I did the same thing on this side too, but with all the trunk pieces over it and the sound deadening going over it, you won't even know it's there. You can't even tell at all. But you got to be careful that you don't split anything like the seams. But that looks like it split right there, but it's really not. It's just the camera angle. This is the factory trunk seam sealer, and it's still intact, still good. No parts of the metal is ripped at all, just a little bit of paint missing, but you know, it's okay. Looks pretty good. But small stuff like that you gotta sacrifice. You gotta do it. It's the name of the game. You gotta modify a little bit of things to work for your car, but you won't even know that that's even like that at all. But whenever I put the Apex sound deadener, you won't even be able to tell. That'll look like it's all factory right there. And I'll show you all the progress that I'm doing so far. But yeah, just first thing you would have to do is go ahead and remove all the trim panels, all the carpeting, your trunk panels, your spare tire, your jack, everything else. Got to try to make it as bare minimum as possible. Every trunk is different, every setup's different, so you got to disassemble it in different ways. That's why I didn't really show you all the way I took mine apart. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show you all the type of sound deadening treatment I'm going to use. The thing I was going to tell you about the JB weld, y'all can use it on any little spot that you feel like is just a little pocket of air or something. If you want to smoothen some parts of the trunk out, like real small spots, if you want to cover some holes, the JB weld is pretty good for that. It's like a paste, and you just mold it to where you need it, and it'll get real hard like a rock. And I'm not sure, I guess you could sand it down, do other stuff like that, but that's totally up to you. But if you just do it right and do it smooth the first time and let it dry the way it needs to be dried out, it'll be good. But yeah, let me grab the pack of sound deadener for y'all real quick so I can show y'all what I'm working with. Okay, so this is what I'm using. Sound deadener. It's Butyl's deadener. It's Apex Audio, or Audio Apex. Yeah, it's Butyl deadener. It's cab, car audio bargain. If you need any of this, you go to caraudiobargain.com, and for the price, you get a lot. And this is what it says right here on the box. If y'all want, I can pause it just to read it, what it says. but for what it is, 36 square feet, that's a lot. This is my first time ever applying sound deadener, so this is gonna be a first for me. But yeah, it's pretty nice. There's their logo right there. This is the first time me opening this box. Got some wax paper so it don't stick to itself. I'm gonna go ahead and sit y'all down for a quick second and then pull some out so I can show y'all what it looks like. Alright, so this right here, it's one sheet. That's really, really big. Although there's two sheets right there. But let me go ahead and pull this extra one out. It all slides out of the box pretty easy. But yeah, here's one sheet. As you can see right there, it's pretty thick. And you just peel. It sticks. You got some aluminum. I'm pretty sure it's aluminum right there on the outside. So that part sticks to the car, and this part shows after it's stuck down like a sticker. And I'm gonna try my best to get everything laid out like this, so if we ever pull back the carpet, or anybody pulls back the carpet, they can see that I took my time and I did it right, and it looks nice in my opinion. And this way I feel like it's more uniform. But yeah, as you can see, that's a pretty big piece, and that's just one piece right there. So that's going to give you a lot of coverage. And the first place I'm going to start is in the spare tire well right there. And I'm going to set one piece in there just to see how it lays out. Back in the box. Yeah guys, this stuff is really good. It's great for the price. Cab 1144 deadener from Audio Apex. They're a really great company, great guys. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this box out real quick, sit y'all down, and then I'll show y'all what more or less I'm gonna do with this deadener and what spot first, and then I'll go ahead and get started on vacuuming and everything before I lay it down. I'm gonna vacuum, make sure everything's all cleaned out and all the crevices, and then after I do that, I'm gonna get some alcohol, wipe down everywhere where I need to. People use wax and grease remover to remove like the oils from your hands, or any oils that may be on the car that may have spilt in your trunk previously, just to make sure things just adheres to the body a lot better. It sticks a lot better. You don't got to worry about dirt or any dust, debris, anything like that. So let me pull this out. What I'm gonna do after I clean it out and everything, lay it down in the trunk like that, and then start rolling it down and just start getting as much coverage as I could. What I'm gonna do is try to get as much as I could that way, and then try to roll it out to the middle, out towards each side like that, and then get probably another piece right here, cut it where I need to on the deadener, and seal it up along this right here, and fold it upways, and then try to get a piece cut out for this right here, and just slowly start cutting out pieces. And then I'm gonna start laying out the deadener and try to lay out one piece right there, and then another piece up here, and just so on back here. But I'm gonna have to cut it probably with some scissors or something, or maybe a knife or a razor blade. It just depends on how tough it is to cut. But I'm gonna go ahead and lay that down the whole floor first, and after I get the whole floor done with the Apex Audio deadener, I'm gonna start getting the sides. And after I get all the sides, then I'm gonna get the trunk lit. I'm gonna go ahead and get started, start cleaning this out, and I'm gonna show y'all whenever I start laying it down the best that I can. and if not, I could just keep y'all updated, hold the camera and just show y'all like this as I go little by little. But yeah guys, stay tuned. Okay everybody, we have it all nice and clean, vacuumed out. I went ahead and vacuumed, got it all nice and clean from all the dirt, debris, and wiped it all down. All the panels in there, I wiped it all down. It took quite a bit of time. That brownish tan color you see is just a primer that the shells are. All of the shells are that color, but you know, they don't paint that much of the inside of the vehicle. That's all nice and clean. And after I wiped everything down with the blue shop towels, they kind of fall apart a little bit, especially on like the factory dampener right here. It's more like sandpaper and kind of tears the paper towel up a little bit. So after I wiped everything down, there's kind of little pieces of paper towel everywhere, you know, and like small crevices and stuff, and I had to vacuum that back out. So I just went ahead and vacuumed it already. It's already nice and clean. There's no shop towel or pieces of paper towel anywhere. Right here, these are pretty smooth for what they are. The denter should lay over that perfectly fine. It's just the whatever tacky glue that was holding down those little pieces that hold the spare tire in place, so the spare tire don't make no noise. But I'm not gonna leave the drain holes uncovered. If I ever need to, I could just cut them out later and push them through, because I can see where they are from under the vehicle, so I'm not worried about that. But yeah, you can see right there, those black strips right there, those are all factory sound deadening that they try to put on the vehicle. Why some of the cars are pretty loud in the inside from like road noise and stuff like that. And this will help with road noise. It'll help with vibration, so you don't hear no major rattles outside of the car. Stiffen up these panels, because right here it's probably pretty thick. But more like right here it's real thin. It's just a sheet metal from here to the outside of the vehicle. It's real thin. You could hear it. It don't got no strong sound to it, no thump. But all this Apex audio sound deadener will take care of that, make everything much more stiffer, make everything more thicker, and it'll help get the bass into the cab of the vehicle a lot easier. You'll hear it a lot better. It'll quiet the road noise down. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get the whole trunk as best as I could with that one box. And I've seen people do it with less than one box. It just depends on how big your vehicle is. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started right there. First of all, sorry, it's blurry. I'm gonna get right there first of all and start laying it out the best as I could. If I have to, I'll use my torch to lightly heat it up, just so I could you know, more or less mold it to the vehicle right there. Try to get it nice and straight, try to get it uniform. Take my time and do this little by little. Try to do it as best as I could. Get it done right the first time. And whatever I may do may be overkill, but hey, it's sound deadening and sound treated. It'll quiet down the road noise. So it's gonna make it a much better experience driving, especially if you got like aftermarket rims or anything like that. Sometimes they're a little bit loud. Like my 20s, after I put these 20s on, the back tires are pretty wide compared to the stocks, probably almost twice as wide in the back than it was stock, I should say. And that kind of creates quite a bit of road noise, but that'll help a lot out inside the trunk at least. And later on I could get some more of that Apex deadener and start doing the floors under the seats right there, and start doing the roof and just all these parts and pieces, the C pillars, A pillars, you know, just everywhere. The more you have, the better. I'm not worried about fuel efficient, all that stuff like that. My car gets pretty good gas mileage regardless, especially with the big box and big speakers. So this little bit of stuff, sound deadener, nah, it's nothing to me. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and I'm gonna show y'all as I go, as I stick one piece on little by little. I'm gonna keep y'all updated and show y'all what I'm doing. Okay guys, this is about as far as I got so far. Hope y'all can see that. I used one solid sheet for right there, but the only thing that I started noticing that whenever you use a solid sheet like that, you kind of have to make relief cuts, because you know it's not gonna exactly lay over there like a blanket. Kind of rigid, but it's very easy to work with. You just make small relief cuts, and just adhere to the metal. What I did is I got the torch a little bit and sort of heated it up just a pinch, just enough so it's more malleable. I started from right there, the middle, and I worked my way this way. And then as I started getting up here, what it wants to do is sort of like flap over, but instead of having a big old crease right there, part that stuck up, I just made a relief cut. Just cut it with the knife right there from, let me see, from right here to here, and it just shows a little bit of butyl or whatever. But I used scissors. It was okay to cut, and I couldn't find a wooden roller, so I wasn't able to roll it down with the roller, but I used the end of the screwdriver. It's real nice, smooth, flat, and you just sort of just work at it like this, and that works perfectly fine. And the only thing is you may get like little lines all over your deadener, but look at that, you can't even really tell unless it's like in direct sunlight. But it's gonna do its job. It's gonna be hidden anyways, but I just wanted to look nice under there whenever I move my spare tire, or if anybody ever looks down there. But yeah, this is going pretty smooth so far, and what I'm probably going to go ahead and do is get another sheet, try to line it up as best as I could right there, and bring it up this way. If I have to, I'm going to trim it on one of the sides to make it a little bit shorter, and then start piecing the trunk part together right there all the way around. Just cut one of those sheets in quarters or strips, something like that, and I'll show you whenever I'm doing that. And just slowly start getting my way to the top part right here all the way around. Yeah, I'm doing this at night time, of course, but I got the torch right there, just slightly heat it up, just fan it over. There's no need to set it in one spot for too long, because you can melt the butyl. You just sort of start making a mess out of it, but you don't want to do that. It's very easy to work with even without the torch, but it just makes it a little tiny bit more easier, makes it a little bit more malleable. I'm able to stretch it out a little bit better without any creases inside of it. But it looks very good, and that's just one square right there, and then that really did a whole bunch. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get another small sheet. Well, they're pretty big sheets. I'm gonna go ahead and get another sheet and start laying it out right here, and start doing the same thing right here. And hopefully I don't gotta make much relief cuts, but if I do, oh well, it's not gonna be bad. But if I have to trim it up on one side, I'll let y'all know, or I could just show y'all. And I'm just gonna slowly start working my way to the top floor right here, the top part up here, all the way around. And after I get that sound dented, then we're gonna start working on the parts right here, the inner fenders of the trunk. Get these as best as I could. Like, I get the floor really good. So floor first, walls second, and then the trunk lid, I have it foamed in the inside, and I can show y'all what I mean by foamed. and most of y'all probably already know, but whatever's left I'm gonna use on the trunk lid, and if there is more left then we can start getting up into here. But right now this is probably one of my less concerns, is just mainly the floor and then the fender wells, the inside of the fenders. I tape those shut just to keep the pressure in, but kind of gets you in the ears whenever you turn on the air conditioner. You can feel the pressure inside, so you gotta like kind of crack the window a little bit. But I have those taped shut. If y'all were wondering what those were, those are just pressure relief vents that whenever you turn on your air conditioner or your heater or whatever, it don't build up a bunch of pressure inside the cab. It just lets them out through here, but whenever the music starts playing and the bass starts hitting, they start flapping like crazy and they sound like crap. It almost sounds like a horse galloping down the road. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and lay in another sheet and continue on. So yeah, that's the second sheet right here, right off the trunk latch. I was gonna put it a little bit closer and stuff, but it would have just been a little bit harder and I would have had to cut another sheet in half. But either way, I'm gonna have to cut another sheet right there just to sort of make up for that spot that's missing. It may overlap in a couple spots, but that's alright. The more the merrier, you know. Better to have more than enough than not enough. But after I cut the strip for this right here and get all that covered with the sound deadener, then I'm going to start working right here, all in there, and then from there I'm going to jump off to the sides right there, all along there, and more or less do it like how I'm doing now. And I kept it like this, just like that. There looks like there's quite a bit of space right there, but it's just because the gasket, I pulled it back so I could really get up in there. And if this kind of prevents the gasket from going on there right, which I doubt it will, but it will have more than enough clearance to put the gasket back on and it'll look just like normal, you know. But that's gonna be for that piece. So for the second piece, it's done. And I was using the screwdriver handle, and it kind of looks a little weird right there, but it's upside down. But you know, you read it like this, and then as it gets into the trunk, it starts laying out like that. But that looks pretty good. It looks really uniform. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna get another sheet, cut it right in half, and start laying out that piece right there. And then, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and continue on. I may cut squares out just to put the squares out right there, you know, and then overlap it with the sides. But yeah, take your time with this, guys, and don't try to push into any sharp crevices or any crazy angles or anything, unless you could really get it up in there. Like right here, I kind of pushed down a little too hard, and I sort of ripped it a little bit, pushing too hard through like one of those factory holes in the pieces of the trunk metal and the trunk skin. It's pretty sharp, so it kind of cut whenever I was pushing down with the screwdriver. And I'm pretty sure you'll have better results if you're using like a little roller. So if you got a little roller, go ahead and use it. But the screwdriver will work just fine. Your hands will work fine if you're good with them, but it's kind of tough on your hands. You probably won't get it pressed on there that firm, but just like from good distance, you can't even tell that you used the screwdriver or anything. And then, like I've been telling y'all, all this is going to be covered up. But yeah, guys, it's really awesome stuff. It's going down pretty good. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do another sheet, cut it in half, cut it where we need to, and start applying the small pieces to kind of piece it together, you know. And we'll finish up as much as we could. So I went ahead and got a full sheet, and I cut it in half just like that. So there's two pieces, just exactly the same, just like that. And then right there in the middle, I just laid it across here to the metal. I know I didn't get it in there 100% perfect, but either way, whenever I start going over it with the strips, all along there, it's gonna come together. So far so good. I really like this stuff. This stuff sits down real good, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna help out a lot with all the vibrations and stuff, and help out make the music sound better. And not only the music, but the car ride. But yes, this stuff looks very good. I love the logo, black and white, looks very nice. But yeah, it's laying down real good. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting that into some squares and start fixing them along right there, all the way along. And then after I do all that right there, just like I've been telling y'all, start on each side little by little. Okay, this is about as far as I got so far. As y'all could tell, that the strip that I had, the other side of the sound deadener, the other part, the bottom part or the top part, whichever, I cut it into strips instead. And I just laid the strips along here, and I found it was much easier to go around the whole tire well just like that with the strips. It looks pretty good. Really adhering, and I did all that right there, almost finished. So I say probably about another half of a strip would finish doing this right here. And then that other part of the strip I could start putting like on the back sides back there, like against right here on both sides, and see where that takes us. And then I'm gonna start getting full strips, laying them out, and just start cutting them to size. That torch, it helps out a lot. Just barely heat it up, just a pinch, just fan the torch over it and just go over it real lightly, just like that. You don't want to stay in one spot, nothing like that, just fan over it, you know, little by little, slowly do it. That's plenty. And right now it's probably about 60 degrees outside, you know, because it's nighttime. But that torch, it sure does help. And all I gotta do is just heat up the foil part right here, and then just start taking shape. It starts taking shape slowly, and you just work from the bottom part right here. You just work from the bottom up like this. It's always better to work from the bottom this way whenever doing this on the trunk. Some other people may find it, you know, harder or whatever, but I find it a little bit easier because you could trim these with scissors, the strips on the bottom, and just put it where you need to, because there's no sense of having full strips that are like full half of a sheet. See, that's one strip right there, and that's just whatever's left from down here. So that's like half a bottom of the part of the sheet of the sound deadener, and just cut into long strips. But they're pretty wide. They're almost about as wide as my hand. But you just start it out like that. You could barely overlap it if you wanted to, or just get it as close as you could as possible, and just keep doing it. And you can see how like this up here kind of goes down, is because it goes down like this. So I was saying you could cut right about here, cut it off at an angle, and then you could use those little pieces that are a little bit angled and put them at other places like that, in the corners and stuff that ain't so noticeable. But that looks pretty good. It's coming out really good. I'm gonna go ahead and get another sheet, cut it in half, and then cut it in strips also, and start trying to finish this up right here. So there's not very much left, and as you can see, one sheet goes a really long ways, because that one sheet was, the top part of the sheet is from here to here, and there's the smallest spot right here where I didn't get, but that's like where the seam sealer is right there. You can see the seam sealer, and that's where the one panel meets the other, so it's kind of thick right there anyways. But if you want to, if there's any left over, I could always put like a small strip or patch that in or anything like that. But for now, I want to make sure I have more than enough for everything that I'm doing. But yeah, so far so good. And just cut them down so they ain't overlapping as much, you know. This part right here came off of right here, so I just basically got it and turned it upside down and put it right there, and that covered the little piece that was missing from there. So yeah guys, everything's going smooth. It's going down really good, especially whenever you heat it up and you just slowly press it down firmly, and just, you know, use your common sense. Don't sit it on there and peel it up. Don't sit it down there and peel it up over and over again, you know. Or I mean, you may be able to get away with it just once, but once it's stuck down, you can't pull the stuff off. This is coming along pretty good. I'm really excited to see how much of a difference this makes. But as you can see, I'm only halfway through, and I still got plenty of sound deadener left. And just those, I think it was about 3 sheets that just did this alone by itself. So, and as you can tell, like, the spare tire well kind of takes a bunch, but that's all right though, because it's going to be sound deadened. It's going to sound good. I'm really excited to see what the difference is between like the resonance or how the bass sounds or anything like that. This is really thin stuff. All this would rattle, but hopefully this stops all the rattling. And then as you can tell, this sounds more hollow. This sounds much thicker. And whenever it cools down, especially with the foil, it makes it feel like it's like rock solid. But whenever it's heated up with the torch, it's a little soft. But it just depends on how much you heat it up, and it depends on how soft it gets, you know. But I love this stuff, guys. This is going very good. And later I'll make a future update about how much of a difference it made sound wise and everything. But I'm gonna go ahead and get another sheet, cut it in half, cut some more strips out from the bottom half, and finish this part of the trunk. Alright, so I went ahead and cut another strip off of a full sheet, so I cut it in half, and I finished that part right there. So whatever's left off of that, there's the rest of it, and then there's a piece of it right there too. I'm gonna go ahead and put those off to the side and grab a full sheet and start laying it down from that corner to that corner, and start working my way back this way on both sides evenly. And then after I do that, I'm gonna try to get all right there on both sides of the trunk, you know, more or less mirror my work. And then after I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that trunk lid liner off. I'm gonna pull that liner off and put some sound in there right there, and then whatever's left I'm gonna continue putting along there. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started on here, use up as little material as possible so I could see how much I got left to do, you know, those spots in here like I was saying. Alright guys, stay tuned. Alright, just to keep y'all updated, this is as far as I got from the spare tire well. I got one sheet, set it right there in the corner, and then edged it up following the curve of the tire well. And then I got another piece from whatever's extra whenever we're piecing the tire well together, put that right there, And that part that was kind of rounded off right there, I pieced it all together as best as I could right there. Just try to utilize as much of the deadener as possible. Yeah, it's not 100% perfect, but you know, I'm afraid I might run out of material. But instead of using a bunch of pieces and cutting up a bunch of big pieces, I'm going to use up as much of the small parts as possible. But it's going to more or less do the same thing because the deadener is going to be over it anyways. So I got a full sheet right here. I'm going to cut it in threes and then put one part right there and then another right there, and then piece it in more or less like how I did with multiple small pieces right there. But yeah, so far it looks good, and I don't got very much more to do on the trunk floor. But yeah, it's coming along very good. It looks nice. It's more solid, and you could feel the difference, hear the difference whenever you knock on it compared to like, because that sounds more hollow. That sounds thicker. So yeah, sure's deadening the metal alright. But after I go ahead and tie these in, finish them up with the bigger pieces of deadener, then I'm gonna get started right here on both sides. I'm gonna keep y'all updated. Stay tuned. Alright everybody, I have this side done. Yes, I'm in the trunk. I just did this side. This is whatever's left over from one sheet. So this is from the inside view, from like basically if I was in the cab pointing out towards the trunk. All I gotta do now is just do this part. Those pressure relief flaps, whatever you want to call them, they're right there. I just pushed them through. I'm gonna go ahead and cover them with deadener, and I'm gonna give them more sheets. Got about 3 more sheets left, and I'm gonna do this part right here, get up to like right about here, and just start putting as much deadener as I could in the skin, kind of solid, make that more solid. I'm gonna do that to both sides. Probably not gonna have enough for the trunk lid, but that's alright. I'll just continue using foam, and whenever I get some more deadener later, I'll just do the trunk lid. But I just wanted to keep y'all updated. Right now I'm in the spare tire well, just sitting in here. There's quite a bit of room in this trunk. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. It's already past midnight. Okay, I wanted to show y'all as far as I got now. I went ahead and did both sides right there. And then I got up there above the tail light on both sides. I tried to keep the logo as best as I could, like kind of following along with this. But you could only do so much with the logo facing a certain way. And then I got as far as I could up in there in the fender well. And then I put like whatever I had left, small spots like this. I used all 36 square feet on both sides. I covered the pressure vents. I covered those up with the Apex sound deadener. Got up there also. It's not perfect, but it's as best as I could get it. My first time doing the sound deadener. Yeah, I got it pretty far up in here too. See if I can get the camera in there. And this right here was such a crazy curve going up that the sound deadener got quite a bit of wrinkles in it, but that's mostly my fault. But it's not bad. It looks pretty good. It's just that sharp edge right there that where it starts to bend kind of like crinkles up the logo and stuff, but that's where you won't even be able to tell, where you won't be able to see it or anything. But in here it sounds a lot more solid. So with that whole box of sound deadener, I was able to do the spare tire well completely. I'm in the spare tire well, and then all the floor everywhere right here behind the carpet on both sides, and then along right there where the trunk is, I got a lot of coverage. And then whenever I get some more, then I could hit these spots that are a little bit bare metal. But it looks good. It's pretty solid in here. And I went for a drive earlier and it made it a lot quieter. So that took away a lot of the road noise. Next is all left to do is to vacuum, to get all the dirt, dust, whatever else out of here. And just wipe it down, give it a quick wipe down, and start putting the interior panels back in. And then I can put my box back in. And let's see how the 18 sounds after, you know, all the sound deadening treatment. And also, I didn't record it. I forgot to record. I took the whole trunk lid panel off, and where there wasn't a foam, and there's those little rectangular pieces or those triangle pieces that's like bare metal straight to the skin. I went ahead and got a little bit of sound deadener, cut the triangles out for those spots in there, and I'll be able to show you all that at a later video. But yeah guys, this stuff's really good. It was pretty easy to use. There is a lot of it, more than I was thinking there was going to be, and it covered a lot. It really did. Can't wait to get some more of this and continue doing some more pieces and parts of my car. If it quieted the ride down that much, I'm pretty sure it'll do very good whenever I buy some more and put some more in the interior, and for the roof also, to keep the roof flexing down. But it looks good guys. Pretty awesome logo on it. That's why I try to keep it, you know, uniform in one direction. That's going to be it for today's video. Please like and subscribe. Keep watching, share. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.